Lads, how are we?
Fucking living the dream, mate.
Brilliant. Do you know how many folk have been asking for a boxing episode on this podcast? Honestly, I had 3 names sent to me within about a day each other. Both of yous and Aston who couldn't make it today. I'm sitting going, I'll maybe just try like a group thing. Get you on. Then when I done it, I'm like, fuck, what if they hate each other? And it's a full on, see like that, when the gloves are off on Sky and it's just a pure tense atmosphere. But you are all getting on.
We got on alright. You
Aye.
don't get that a lot in boxing.
Nah.
Every cunt's sound in boxing.
Aye. Do you think that's just a build up then for the just hype up a wee bit?
It's a bitchy game, you know what I mean? There's a fair bit of, you know what I mean, a fair bit of talking behind each other's backs. So what's that in the next thing? But I think that's the same in supposing anything, you know what I mean? But aye, no, for the most part, when the fights are done with, you know what I mean, it's back to you know, being formal, you know, being nice with each other, isn't it?
Aye. Prime example, my last fight here in Dublin, I tormented that cunt all week. All week, and he came up after it. It was actually that emotional. He was nearly crying, and he's like, "I look back, man, you played the villain so well." He's like, "I hated you so much." And then he was just cuddling me, and he's like, "Would you please come to my after party?" It's just that's the difference with boxing and like fucking like football.
Aye,
you know what I mean?
Aye,
they fall off in the pitch, and then after it, they're still bitching with each other and all that. But it's all respect in boxing.
Aye,
but see when you are getting into a fight, see in your head before it starts, do you know you're going to act like that, or do you just go with what happens? The more the kind of chat goes and the more the build up starts, and then do you go a bit like, I'm going to try and get under this guy's skin and see what he's made of?
You've got to mentally prepare yourself, you know what I mean? You need to, there's a bit you need to hate the person, you know what I mean?
Aye.
You've got to get that in you, that, you know, that edge, you know what I mean? So you do, I think you do have to kind of convince yourself that you really don't like the person, because you've got to build that aggression, you know what I mean? You can't do it. You see it a lot. You see fighters being too nice, shaking hands too much at the family and you know, and everything else, and I don't think that's the right approach. You need to have that bit of aggression and build that wee bit of kind of false hate towards them to take it out in the ring, you know what I mean?
Aye.
So I'm hard with that because I'm just too nice. I'm too nice to be as nasty a bastard as I can be. But I know I know 100% what you're talking about. I just can't have that spite in me to be bad like that. The only way I can do it is to be a dick. But I know I'm going to embarrass this cunt here.
We're actually doing it,
I know, but I'm going to embarrass this cunt here. I'm going right fucking annoy this cunt. That's the only way I can get that evil bit about me.
Can you tell when you've got under somebody's skin a fighter? Like, see when you're in the build up, can you in your head you're like, I've got him now?
I just need to turn up, mate. I'm quite an annoying cunt, mate. I just need to turn up.
At the beginning, I notice it, you know what I mean? When you're actually face to face and eyes to eye with them, I kind of get a wee bit of sense then if they're, you know what I mean? If you've got underneath their skin, you know what I mean? That's when I kind of, but listen, I could be wrong as well, you know what I mean? As much as I'm trying to get under his skin, you know what I mean? You're trying to convince yourself that you're getting underneath his skin, so it's a whole load of sort of layers, a sort of mental games that you're playing, you know what I mean? So whether I'm right or no, you know what I mean? But the important thing is you getting, you know, you're confident in your own head, you know what I mean? So,
I think the tail's always a dry spit in the side of the mouth soon.
Heavy breathing.
When they're talking to you and you can see it just starts to coagulate there. It's just got a wee bit of white there. But I'm right annoyed this cunt. But I've gone right under his skin. But I never get that way. I never get annoyed at it. Do you know what I mean? I'm always fucking...
That probably bothers folk as well though.
It really irritates people. That Carty was fucking... What was he shouting? He was shouting something about, this is my fucking city. This is my fucking city. I am Dublin. And I just started pissing myself laughing at him. And he was like... and then try to push me and pushed himself back. You know what I mean? It was fucking... I was like, you pushed yourself back, you fun. And he was fucking raging. I was like, I've done nothing there. I've done nothing but laugh. But I've got right under his skin with it. Do you know what I mean? But I love it, man. I just love it, cunts.
How did you both get into it? How did you both get into boxing?
First.
I started boxing, well, I was at school, as I say, I was saying just before we started, and getting a bit of getting into trouble, bit of rough riding, whatever, here and there, and I started boxing for there. Somebody else suggested to my ma I should join, like, I don't know, the military or something like that. My ma was definitely not for that, neither was I, and somebody else said boxing, and I always wanted to box when I was wee. My first memory, man, was I met Barry McGuigan on a flight, you know what I mean? I was at 12-year-old heading over to Munich. And the mind he gave me a wee card and signed it and blethered away to me and whatever else. So I kind of always like Mace Wayne's, you know what I mean? I was on to Rocky and everything else. And, you know what I mean? The kind of Hollywood side of things. And then I started boxing when I was about 13-year-old. Went there to Palace Arts. So I was, and that was it. For there, I had a good wee run. You know what I mean? I won some titles, Scottish titles, schoolboy titles, boxed for Scotland. Fell away for it. Like, you know, like a lot of people do when drinking and partying and everything else comes into play when you're 17, 18-year-old. And I had a few wee spells on and off for then. Boxed in Australia and that when I was there. And I've obviously quite late to turning professional, turned pro about 2.5 years ago. So that's where I am now, aye.
Nice. Yep. What about yourself?
I was just a fat Wayne, mate. I was 8-year-old. I think I was just over 13 stone. It was 84 kilo or something.
Right.
Which is fucking humongous for an 8-year-old. I was like a beanbag with feet. Not, I mean, I was just a wee fat cunt. And it was just to get me into that. So man, took me down with our pals get twins. They started doing a wee bit. Yeah, they lasted about a week, but it was the first time I went in. I thought I was somebody else. They put me in sparring. Fucking 8-year-old was in, my boy about 15 or something. Punched my cunt in.
Right.
But I made him miss and then I hit him. And something just clicked in. It was just like, I fucking love this shit. And that was for I was 8-year-old. That was just my life was engulfed by it, engulfed by boxing. And like you said about the drinking and partying, that I fell away with it as well, but I fell away with it just after I signed my pro contract. So I was fucking fighting with.
Aye.
Is it hard though, that discipline side here? See when you get to that 16, 17, 18, is it hard to stay focused on boxing when you've got like your pals and birds and drinking?
I think that's the hardest part, to be honest. And I nearly turned professional when I was 22. I think 21 or 22, and I didn't. I broke my arm out, pished, climbed a statue in George Square and fell off it, and broke my wrist. So, but in hindsight, it was the best thing that could have happened because at the time, you're either it's all nothing in this game, and you know, I would have made a cunt of it. There's no doubt about it. I would have. So in hindsight, I'm kind of glad that I didn't, and I did wait till I was a wee bit older and maturer. And
do you think you'd have kept like, dicking about at the time if you'd have signed guy?
No, I mean I was at clubbing every weekend, and you know, as much as I love boxing, like, you know, that's you're that kind of was the big thing at the time. You know, I mean, all your pals are doing it. Everybody's involved in the club scene, whatever else. It's such a hard thing now. I mean, you wouldn't thank you for it, but at the time, you know what I mean. That's what you wanted to be doing. You know what I mean. So I'm really glad that I didn't turn pro then, because I 100% would have had a couple losses off the back of no training properly and being out partying. You know what I mean. And that's it, you know what I mean? That's
you hate to do that, man.
And I take it if you're
affidavit him.
see if you're a fitter player, for example, you can go out and booze and still turn up and play, but I take it with boxing, you're not going to get away with that if you're not training before a fight as much as you should be.
Well, I thought I could. I got away with it for my first few.
Right.
And then
did you have a point where you're like, shit, this isn't it?
It was when I was fucking... I actually stopped the boy in the first round. I watched him warm up, but it was actually the one after that. But I watched him warm up, and I'm like, he's fucking pissed, man. I've dived to the bar and got 2 double Jack and Cokes. I got back to the change room and sat and drank them while I was waiting to warm up.
Right.
And I can't remember who it was. It might have been Calvin McCord. I said it to. I was just a right fucking cocky prick. I was like, I'm going to do this, cunt. I'd just seen it. It was stand up straight, storm like that.
Right.
You know what I mean? It was tailor-made for me. And so I've drank one of them as I was getting wrapped up. I've got wrapped up, put the gloves on. I went, I'm sure it was Calvin McCord. I felt like that. Aye, so still be there when I come back. It's because ice was in the glass.
Right.
I went out done when I first came back, and I'm like, told you, and just kept going. Next fight, I turned up out my fucking box and I got a tanking. I thought we can't be shite as well, and I got a tanking. And
where's your head at that point though?
Oh, well, the next line's coming for you. That's where my head was at. Do you know what I mean? I was in a bad way. It's obviously changed days now, but aye, like you were saying about the time that you were going to turn pro, and it would have been the worst thing for you. It was the worst thing for me. I turned pro. I've fucked it. I tell you what, I've had some time doing it. Do you know what I mean? Because I'm so loud and all that, I've had some amount of opportunities.
Aye.
Which, believe it or not, after 8 losses and losing the last one that I was getting the 2-fight deal, I've still been offered fights since.
Right.
Because people still want me on the shows.
Aye.
But I tell you what, man, I've had some time in this game, you know what I mean? I don't know how long it'll last still.
Aye.
But I've had the time of my life. Some of our stories.
Aye.
You know what I mean?
And then you've obviously turned pro later on. Did you feel that it passed you by at any point, or did you feel like you'd missed your...
Absolutely. So I was, as I said, I was in Australia, boxed it there. I boxed actually, it was an Aboriginal island I was working on. There was like next to nothing on the island. One of the things they did have was a boxing gym. They had like a butchers and a church and whatever else. They had a boxing gym on native Aboriginals, and I started boxing it there. So that was a good experience for me. That was the last time I properly competitively kind of boxed. I came back to Scotland, I had a couple amateurs, but that's the last time I had a good sort of spiel at it. So I was kind of thinking I was over the hill with it, you know what I mean? And during lockdown I started training, could get access to a gym, and started training again, I was sparring with pros and whatever, but I didn't really have any sort of self-belief, you know what I mean? You need that in this game, you know what I mean? But I didn't have any self-belief. I had a bit of imposter syndrome, you know what I mean? Where it all kind of didn't really feel like I belonged, you know what I mean? Where I was, so I got offered to turn pro. I was kind of just happy at that. I was just delighted to be having the offer, you know. But then obviously kicked a ball with it, and had a good few wins now. Won a title, my last fight, whatever else. So like, you know, I'm pushing on, you know what I mean? I want to see how far I can go with it, you know. Obviously I'm 37, just turned 37, but you know, I definitely think I've got that left in me, you know what I mean?
And do you still have the... I mean, I'm 40 and I fucking hate going to the gym and doing anything like that, but do you still have the motivation all the time to go and do your training and get prepped? And...
I think more so than I did when I was younger, to be honest, because I'm not messing about, you know what I mean? I'm focused, you know what I mean? Like I've not got the same distractions that I did when I was younger, so I feel like I've got the heat screwed on a lot more now than I did 10 years ago or even 15 years ago, you know what I mean? No cutting any corners, and you know, that's a big thing, you know what I mean? For me anyway, you know what I mean? I couldn't go into, like, I know, obviously what Jay was saying there, you know what I mean, about his experience and whatever, but that gives me the absolute fear, you know what I mean? That's really, I've had nightmares about that, you know what I mean? I do have nightmares about turning up for a weigh-in, and I'm 3 months fit of training, and I know I need to go in and...
That right there is maturity, which I do not possess yet.
Well, that's it. Neither did I, know what I mean? I know Jay's a fair bit younger than me, you know what I mean? So never did I. And, you know, I don't know if I'd have went to extent of, you know, tan Jack and Coke before a fight, but I certainly...
Listen, man, it's a highlight reel knockout as well. Must have given it, see that one, slip back, bum.
I do know that, I've seen it.
I was,
you know, so that I did, you know what I mean? But as you said, that is a bit of that, you know what I mean? Also, I've settled down now, you know what I mean? I've got a woman away, and you know, that's like, I'm not living the life that I was before, you know, which is a big part to playing it as well, you know. I want to give him something to be proud of when he grows up, you know what I mean? Something to look at, and that's a playing factor as well, you know what I mean? You don't want to make a mess of things when you're just doing things off your own back. It's easy to just kind of go, oh, fuck it, you know what I mean? Whatever, it's only your eyes to kind of pick up the pieces, you know what I mean? But I really want to make the story worthwhile, you know what I mean? For my Wayne's sake, and you know, for everybody else around about me. So that's a playing factor as well, you know what I mean?
It's interesting when you talk about the imposter syndrome, because obviously if you're a boxer, you're in there yourself, and as much as you've got a team running about you, but anytime I watch a fight, obviously boxers always appear confident and ready to go, but that must be a battle as well if you're maybe in a fight or in training and you're like, I don't know if I should really be here, or I don't know if I should be in this position. But that must be a massive impact if you're in a ring ready to go with somebody as well, in the back of your head's got all these fucking thoughts that are piling in there.
So I said, did she do, I don't know what like for Jay, if you can agree with me, but because obviously we've got kind of different kind of approaches to the game, you know what I mean? But for me, there's always this kind of moment, especially when I'm in waiting for me to announce you're under the lights and you look on a bit and there's hundreds of people, you know, and you're a bit, it's like, the fuck am I doing here again? You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? I do get a bit of that, but it's just for a moment. And then before you know it, you need to switch on, you know what I mean? So there is a fair bit of, you know what I mean? You've got to kind of, for me anyway, you've got to keep, you know, keep the knife at your aim back, you know what I mean? To keep pushing forward with a positive kind of, you know, a positive, you know, outlook going into a fight, you know what I mean? But you do have wee moments, you have flutters, I do anyway, you know, where sometimes it's even a fight being announced, you see my face in a poster, I get a wee, he's sinking my stomach, and I'm like, oh fuck, is that feeling of having to go square go with somebody after school and you're sitting in class thinking about it all day, you know what I mean? Like it's that kind of thing, you're like, what am I doing, you know what I mean? Like, but it goes, you know what I mean? And the more you do it, I had a lot of experience as an amateur, I had about 70 fights as an amateur, and And what I've done as a pro, the more you do it, the easier it gets. You know, you just learn to cope. You know what I mean? But like, certainly, you have your moments. You know what I mean?
Aye, see, I was like that right at the start, but how many pro have you had now?
6.
6. See, I've had fucking 22 now.
Aye.
But it's because I turned pro at 18.
Yeah.
And obviously I've been fighting since, I think my first fight was at 10. 9.5, 10 or something. That was my first fight anyway. But it's just got to the point I don't get that anymore.
Aye.
It just feels like another day at the office, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I get it. See, when it's the fucking lights are shining on you, it's but obviously because that's 100% come for you because you'll beat Elliot O'Donnell, I think, for the Celtic, and you'll get a big opportunity, and it's fucking well deserved because you put everything into it.
Thank you.
But when you go on to the bigger shows, and it has all the lights and all that, I was saying this to Jerry. I was like, I get to the point I'm in the ring and I go, oh fuck, I need to do this bit as in the fight because I'm such a character in the sense of being entertaining at the press conference. I steal the show at the press conference, at the workouts, at the weigh-ins. I steal the show every time, and then I'm like, fuck, I'm going to actually need to turn up and fight a cunt here because I sometimes focus too much on. I don't even focus on it. It's not like I put my energy towards it, but I use my energy in it.
Aye.
Because I always need to be the class clown and entertaining and need to be, fucking get out of here, not like, you know what I mean? I need to be jumping about and making noise and
You forget you've got to fight.
I forget. It gets to the point I'm like, fuck. I walk out to a booing crowd and I'm like, shit. I forgot I've riled these cunts up all week. You know what I mean? Cunt about the Shamrock Rovers tarpaulin and fucking... I forgot I've really annoyed these people all week, and then that really got to me that time with the crowd. It was really hostile. But I just get to that point. I'm like, it comes to fight day, and I'm like, oh fuck, I forgot about this bit.
Does the crowd not? Can that be a factor if it is like a hostile?
It never has been, right? But it never changed in Dublin. They were booing and fucking shouting and throwing shit the whole time.
Right.
Whereas see when I fought in Rome, at first I came out to booze, and I kept my cool, kept my composure, straight faced. I was fine. And then as I got into the fight, they get right behind me.
Right.
And it was because Guido's hit me with everything. I'm like, come on, let's go, let's fucking go. And then they started, Jay.
That full-on Rocky moment, innit?
Goals. And they started all getting behind me, and after the fight, I swear to God, mate, there was more people asking for pictures of me than there was with Guido. And they were like, hey, champion, Scotland champion.
Aye.
But I never had that in Dublin. I went out to Dublin, it was all football hooligans, the Bohemians, football hooligans, we saw his pals. And I've been wearing the Shamrock Rovers all week and right under his skin. The worst thing is Tommy doesn't care about football. But because he's got the association with Bohemians, he had to care about football. And that annoyed him even more. But the crowd never at one point did it like fucking
died down.
When I went down the first time, it was just a natural reaction. All my senses were there, I was fine. He hit my eye and it went that way, and I was seeing 3 of them out of that eye. So if I'd done that, I was seeing 4. It was like split vision. It was the most bizarre thing I've ever had.
Right.
And I hate this, but my natural reaction was to curl up and get away. As soon as it felt like that's what it was like when I got hit.
Especially with your vision.
And I just went down, boom. I just went down like that, curled up, and then get back up. But I was looking, and it was like as if there was one of you there, one of you there, one of you there, one of you there. Well, how the fuck am I going to hit this guy? I can't see him. And then I went back to the corner, and Jerry was like, I don't know if you actually see this on the television, like, you alright? I go like that. I'm like, that's the test we do. Like, my senses are there. Just looking at him, like, there's nothing wrong with me. I just couldn't see. My pupil went oblong.
Jeez.
Like a snake's eye. It was bizarre. They wanted to keep me in on it when I came out after the fight. They wanted to take me to the hospital and have a look at it and get up to him in a petition or whatever. Well, I'm getting pissed. Woke up the next morning, it was fine. I mean, the vision's not 100% yet, but it's getting better. But that was scary shit, that.
I was going to say, either one of you, have you ever had like an injury that's made you think like, do I want to actually do this for a job? Like, is this what I want to be doing? Have you ever been like rocked with a punch or something and went, fucking hell, man, that's...
No, not really. No,
I'm the same.
You know, I've certainly, you know, been hurt and you know, the wee white flash and I think Joel probably not talking about. You got to taste, sometimes you hit that hard, you get a taste at the back of your mouth, you know what I mean? It's like, but certainly, no, I mean, I'm quite lucky in the sense you know, hopefully continues. I've never been stopped or done or anything like that. So like, you know, I'm not saying it can't happen. It can't always, and I'm well aware of that. You know what I mean? That's that the fear of that kind of keeps you on your toes, you know. But I've not had any sort of sorings that have made me think, hold on a minute, you know, do I want to do or something? You know what I mean? Definitely no. But I mean, it's, as I said, it's part of that's what drives it. Part, you know, the fear of that happens, but you know, keeps your runs up. You know what I mean? Realistically,
it's mental when you think about it, though, because your job is to punch somebody until they can't get up. Do you know what I mean? There's many other jobs as you go to work and be like, and it just punch this guy in the head completely until he
going back to what you're saying. I think that's part of the allure of this game, is that you're not with a team. You know what I mean? It's you're in there yourself.
As soon as the bell goes, everybody goes that way.
Aye.
You know what I mean?
And I suppose for all the talk during the week, at that point it's just you and him.
That's it.
And there's nobody got to save either one of you. It's just
and it's still
just got to go on.
You know what I mean? That is you testing yourself to your own limits, because you've got nobody to fall back on. I mean, other than yourself. If you cut corners, it's you that's going to pay for it. You know what I mean? It's just, everything's on your back. You know what I mean? Well, you've got your team, you just train, and you know what I mean. You've got your men in the corner and whatever, but everything's on your back when you're going in there. You know, and that's part of it. For me, that's part of the high risk, high reward, you know what I mean? Like, and that's when you come away from it, you know, as I said, I couldn't go now and start playing football and feel the same way I do about winning a fight as I do winning a cup final or anything like that, you know what I mean? Because I know what's, you know what I mean, what's involved in boxing, how tough a sport it is. I've got respect for everybody that does it, you know what I mean? My opponents, everybody, and you know, as I said, back to what I said, high risk, high reward, you know what I mean? And you do take that reward for it, you know, you've went in and pushed yourself against somebody who's coming to take your head off, you know? So
it's like that. What you were saying there about football. If Messi is a push game, he's still the best player in the world the next week. Oh, he's still the best player. I just did an half game. See, Floyd Mayweather, for example, right, was the best at the time. If he had a bad week and he lost, he's not the best anymore. Whoever beat him's the best. It's more dog eat dog in boxing. You can't blame teammates. You can't blame.
You go for heroes. I mean, look at Josh Taylor not even getting beat now. You look on online, the internet, and you look at some things that people are hitting out. They're completely forgetting what he's done. You know what I mean? And it's one loss. One loss is nothing. I mean, as I said, it can happen to absolutely anybody. You're constantly coming up against your hardest tests. You know what I mean? And the people are putting his name completely in the dirt. You know what I mean? As if he's nothing. He's going to move up to welterweight. He's going to do fuck all, and they forget really quickly, you know what I mean? And
see with Taylor as well, you also forget he's 6 foot tall.
Aye.
He's a 6 foot tall.
He's huge. He's a monster.
Massive.
He's an absolute monster. That's the same way as me, you know what I mean? Super lightweight. He's a monster, you know what I mean? Even Broadway, you know what I mean?
He should never be making that weight. Never. No. He should never be making it. That's why he needs to move up. But that's like you said, man, a one loss and people are calling him a bum. But you forget he was Commonwealth world champion. Fucking unified world champion in under 20 fights. And you're like, won the Muhammad Ali trophy, the World Series boxing, and you're like, how the fuck can you call him a bum?
No. That's the sport we're in. Come back, we're saying, you know, with football, it's a loss, get back to it next week. In boxing, you know what I mean? People just want you in one path, and you know, if you fall off it, they're quick to throw you down.
The
know
thing
what I mean?
with Taylor as well, with it, all kind of stemmed for the Carroll fight, and he didn't make the decisions. But he got all the shite after it, do you know what I mean? It was as if it was like, how dare you?
I get it for the Cartels fans' point of view, you know what I mean? He rubbed it right in.
But it seemed to then sway folk were, I don't know if it's just a sport thing in general, but folk were just waiting for something to happen to him so they could just fucking...
That's what happens when you're at the top of the game, not especially in the fight game, know what I mean?
Do you pay attention to what folk are saying about you though in that social media world?
You're no meant to, but I'm that cunt that answers everybody. I love it, mate. I love it. It's because I know I'm quicker and sharper and funnier than most cunts as well.
Doesn't bother you though, does it?
Quite dim. See the ones that are saying shit like that, they're all quite dim, and then they've went, I'm going to say something here because it'll make me look good. Well, I don't need to reply. I could just leave it. I've got to the point with my social media, I don't need to reply. People reply for me. And people get my slagging for me. But I still love it, man. I just love annoying cunts.
You will get the kind of faceless profiles telling you what you should be doing techniques-wise in the ring and all that, and then you're sitting there like, who is this guy?
But I've give cunts that much a pounding online that other people do it for me now. So people have followed it, seen it, thought it was funny, but shared it or blah, blah, blah. So if somebody says to me, a wee faceless profile, and it's like, you don't know what the fuck you're doing, you should never be a boxer, like blah blah blah, somebody will hit them. I don't even need to say it, somebody will hit them back. But shut up, you fucking dick, you've not even got a profile picture, living in your man's fucking basement, just give people abuse, and it's fuck all to do. I don't even know these people. Do you know what I mean? But it's because I reply to people and I say things like that, and people just jump onto my defence before it's even.
I'm actually guilty of that. I weighed in on somebody saying something on before the Carfey fight, you know what I mean, about you. Found myself getting into a wee argument with somebody. I don't even do that for my, you know, for myself, you know what I mean? So I can see what you're on about there, you know what I mean? But I don't really bother, man. To be honest, I don't get a lot of it, you know what I mean? I've only had 6 fights and I'm only starting to move into sort of big title contention now, you know, in bigger title contention, so I don't really get too much yet. I like to kind of keep my gob shut, you know what I mean? I like to try, in my opinion, you know, you big yourself up. A lot of young boys in this game day, man, they're so full of ego and they big yourself up that you're going to fall a lot harder, you know what I mean? You just team yourself up for it. As I said, and maybe it's a bit of maturity in this game. We're all capable of getting beat always, and you know, if you're mouthing off, you know what I mean, you're just going to make it a whole lot harder when it does happen, you know what I mean?
And I suppose at that point it must be harder for the young guys to recover because they're in their heat, they're unstoppable, and then bang.
One that I've noticed very recently, and he's a nice boy, but his move was just too big, and it's turned people I know, it's turned them against him, and I'll be like, no, he's a good boy, blah blah blah. Fraser Wilkinson, he was proper. I'm the next pay-per-view star in Scotland, and he took a loss there against Corey McCulloch, and it's new how you see how they come back for that. Because if they can't, then your move's too big for.
You know what I mean? That's it. You need to stay humble. You know what I mean? Because as I say, we're all capable of copying a loss and getting beat. You know what I mean?
It's actually one thing I think I've done perfectly. Is that I've always had a big move and a loud move but I've never bummed myself up. I've just been loud. And I've always said, I'll take losses. It's like I'm a fucking novice. I wasn't a novice. I was just young, you know what I mean? But I've always said that right from the very first interview I done with IFL TV. I said, look, mate, I'll take 100 losses, but I'll win something. Because I'll keep going and I'll keep grafting and I'll keep getting better. And that's one thing I think I done perfectly anyway. Because now it doesn't matter when people see me get beat, it's like I get beat. But a lot of people like these boys that fucking everybody's blowing smoke up their arse. He cannot be beat. He's the best. He's the best. He's the best to walk outside the world. Fuck blah 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 and they get all this shit. As soon as they get beat, it's for there to boom. Whereas I've put my line there. I was like, look, I'm just a boy for the scheme that's fucking trying to do his best. So if I get beat, I stay there. I was like, do you know what? Maybe the next one. And I'll stay there and I'll stay there and I'll stay there and I'll get all these opportunities. And one day, I 100% believe it myself, I'll get one of these opportunities, I'll turn one of these big boys over and I'll get something up there.
As soon as you start believing you can't get beat, you're going to get beat, you know what I mean? You have to have that fear, and you have to be scared of losing.
You're just one hit away from it, aren't you?
You need that fear, you know what I mean? You need that to drive you. I think the minute you switch off and start to think you're too good for what's in front of you, you might think you're not too good for everybody, but the minute you even think the fight in front of you, you're way too good for them, you're putting yourself in a position that you could get beat, you know what I mean? Or caught or whatever, you know, you switch off, you know what I mean? You need to stay switched on all the time in this game, so I totally understand what Jay's saying, and I agree with him. You know what I mean? Like you need to keep your head in this game. You know what I mean? Definitely.
Do you know one thing with me? Just after that last fight, the super chin's gone because I got hit me down, and I actually got hit down. When Campbell put me down, I was off balance and fell back. It was heavy because of the weight of me landing on myself. But I actually get pat down there. But I've always got away with everything, just being the hardest cunt in the room. And just you hit me with any you want and I'll no move, and I've always been that. I've now not got that, and it's added a level of excitement to me. It's bizarre. It's bizarre. It should make me go, oh no, fuck this, man.
That's what I was going to say. Is there a level of worry there? No, is it just
I can be knocked out now? But it's actually it's because fucking it's a dopamine that gives me with the gamble. I love the gamble. And I like gambling, but this is like a proper gamble now. It's like if I get hit, I can get down here. Whereas I've never had that. It's always I can get hit, you hit me what you want, I'll tell you to hit me, go hit me again. I've been fine now, I've not got that. It's added a level of excitement to me. to my game, because I know, like, if I get hit here, I can get
Aye,
I need to move away from the punches now. I just take one and I'll hit you twice back. So it's but that's added a level of excitement to my game now.
I think being a heavyweight as well, you know what I mean, there's a different kind of there's a different kind of, you know, thing that people want in boxing with our kind of weights and whatever, you know, like that the one excitement in the heavyweights at a stage, you know what I mean, kind of doing it super lightweight and stuff like that. They want to see skillful fighters, you know what I mean, really show family, but they're you know what I mean, they just want to see a good bit of sort of, you know, a bit of showcase, a kind of, you know, how would I say it? You know what I mean, they want a bit of excitement, don't they?
Heavyweight boxing, people are wanting to see fucking Witherspoon's toilet shit. Do you know what I mean? They're wanting to see blood, guts, and fucking just stand there toe to toe. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Fucking tie your lead ankles together and just go for it. Phone box stuff. But it's funny. It's heavyweight boxing. At times, it's just a different sport.
A different sport, exactly.
It's just a different sport. We don't need to do the weight. We fucking. Don't need to be as good. You know what I mean? It's just one of them. It's funny. It's mad. It's mad to think, but it is like a different sport. Even for when I made the cruiserweight limit, I was cruiserweight for 20 minutes, right enough. I weighed in 14.4. I done 26 pun. I dropped in a week.
In 1 week?
Aye,
Jeez.
the water loading. I walked into the ring at 16.5, weighed in at 14.4 and walked into the ring at 16.5.
How did you feel?
Phenomenal. I felt great. I done it properly, but because see, when I do something, I do it right, or if I'm going to do something, I do it that way. I'll do it right. So I really clued myself up on it. So if you're ever wanting to water load, come to me about it. It's a fucking touch of the tism I've got. Do you know what I mean? I just need everything to be perfect and everything needs to be lined out and all that. So so there was just things like I found wee hacks and things. If you eat clotted cream, there's the right enough amount of potassium in it. It cancels out the sodium in it, so you'll not attract the water, but there's enough calories in it that you can sustain yourself that way. Just finding wee things that I could do. You know what I mean?
That's science to it, isn't there?
Aye.
No, really is. When I say science, I mean, there's probably scientists sitting there shaking their head going, shut up.
As far as I couldn't nearly died. You know what I mean?
As far as...
but I made the weight. I'm on the
kind push it, no, I mean, aye.
And then everybody laughed at me for this. Because you water load and you strip your body of water, everything just stops.
Right.
So you're starving yourself, you're not eating. Everything just stops moving. So I was drinking my electrolytes and water, just trying to get myself to move again. And everybody's like, Mum, go and we need to get you food. Because I weighed in and I was fucking shaking and all. I was like, I'm not eating until I piss. Oh, what the fuck are you talking about? I was like, I'm not eating until I piss. Because you need to wait till everything's moving again. As soon as you're pissing, your whole body's working again. Right. Everything's working. Yeah. So I pissed. I tell you where I went, mate. KFC. wasn't it for the taste? Wasn't it? Oh, I missed KFC. It wasn't for that. It's the amount of salt that's in it.
Right.
So I sat down on KFC and I've had it was like a zinger burger and fucking a boneless banquet. Right. I've had, right, but I've sat down. Let's say I was. By the time I've got some water into my system, I've sat down, I was maybe 14.5 stone. I sat there, I was eating bits of it and drinking a 2 litre bottle of water. Right. Eating bits, drinking a 2 litre bottle of water. I stood up about 15.5, 16 stone.
Jeez.
Because all the bottle... I sat down like that and I stood up like that. It was fucking mental.
Yeah.
But I went with my mate and his dad. And they were just looking... It was when I get back in the motor with them. And they were like, mate... You look like a different cunt. It's like we've just went to KFC and you've come out looking different. But obviously my face is filled back out. I've got the water in my system. I was like that, and I was like, science, innit?
Going back to what Jay was saying, you know, like sometimes when you're constantly so much in weighing the weight, that's a fight in itself. You go on the scales and you're like, you've got a feeling of relief, and then what Jay was saying earlier, you kind of you have a wee moment, you go, oh, fuck, I need to fight. You know what I mean? I still need to fight. You feel as if like that in itself is. So you can sometimes become so hyper focused on it. And I certainly can anyway, you know what I mean, that you distract away from kind of, you know, what the real job you have to do, you know what I mean? Because making the weight and getting on the scales can be a real, it's a long battle, you know what I mean? It can go on for weeks, you know what I mean? And especially for likes of me kind of new to this game, you know what I mean? You're still kind of finding out, and at my age and all, like how your body reacts and how you're going to do it, you know what I mean? Like, so you can become kind of hyper fixated on making the weight more so than the fight. You need to kind of find that balance. You know what I mean?
Because you're throwing everything into that, and then it's like you've still got to get in the ring.
You come off the scales and you think, you feel as if you should be going and having a beer and relaxing. You know what I mean? You're like, fuck, I still need to fight. You know what I mean? That feels like a fucking challenge in itself. You know what I mean?
What about? Obviously, the both of yous have got a love for the sport, but have yous both had? What's been a kind of real low point for both of yous career wise, or even before yous became pro, where it's been harder for you to kind of bounce back there? It's took a bit of time for you to get back to where you wanted to get to.
For me, when I lost to Campbell,
right,
because I know I should have beat him, and I completely fucked it. Everybody else I've been around me has all been quite higher level, so I'm there or thereabouts, and I've no at least no turned up because of boozing that before. But I was out to 5 in the morning when I fought Campbell. Fucking walking by the hydro pissed before I'm going out to fight the night after. I was sitting in his park with cunts and kitchens and all that. I'm like, I'm need to go, mate. I'm need to get back to sleep. I'm fighting on Sky tomorrow.
I think you deserve a belt for fucking doing that in itself, you know what I mean?
I know. And what was hard about it was that I was up in the scorecards as well. And I hit him and fucking nearly put my legs when I was up in all that place. And then I just got to the point my body couldn't take any more. And I was like, oh, fuck, I'm going to need to just keep swinging for the fences here. I started swinging, I'm catching my big shots, hitting them to the body. And then he caught me off balance, but I went down. That took a lot out of me. See, my arse has hit the flare. I'm like, fuck. It was just like
exhaustion, wasn't it?
Huh?
Seemed like it was just exhaustion for you, you know what I mean?
Well, I got up and Kenny Pringle, I mean, I hate him for it, but I know why he done it. Because I went back, he's fucking blowing his load and he's throwing everything at me. He wasn't coming out for the next round. He was saying his hand was broke. His fucking hand was mangled. They sent me a picture of it. It was actually a shame because he couldn't box for a while after it. But he's he wouldn't have been coming back out. Do you know what I mean? He would have chucked it. But I went back like that. I went, like, hands up, like, come on, let's go. And I've not been throwing anything back. And Kenny was like, Jay, I don't want to see it anymore. That's what he said to me. He done that and he fucking held me and he was like, I don't want to see that anymore, big man. Like, it's too much. It's no nice to watch. Which is fair enough, but
it's hard for you in the actual
it's hard
ring.
for me because I was happy just taking it, and then I would give him back because it wasn't the biggest puncher. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't fucking. It's not like every one of them was losing brain cells. He's just hitting me, and it looks bad because it's fucking heavyweight boxing. Do you know what I mean? But that one was hard for me to come back.
But I suppose for somebody watching it in your team, there must be a point where they go, I've got to do something here. Like you said, because you're in the zone, you're not even thinking about it.
My coach Jerry was like, big man, I had the towel in my horn for 30 seconds in. He's like, you threw a few. He's like, I just couldn't throw it. I was like, this big fanny is going to pull something off you. He's like, it was... Because obviously I turned up fucking stinking of booze, you know what I mean? I turned up late to the hydro. We were meant to be on before the main event, but because I didn't turn up, I ended up being 2 before the main event because they used us as the floater. So I was meant to be the chief support and I've turned up late and they couldn't knew where I was. I've ended up being the floater and getting put on 2 before the main event.
Jeez.
Because I fucking needed a nap, you know what I mean?
Just gives me anxiety. No, I mean, that's what I'm saying. That's I have nightmares about this, you know what I mean? I'm a heavyweight,
But,
I mean?
it was fucking... I just needed a wee nap before.
So I've been quite lucky, man, so far in my career. You know, I've not had any major setbacks, injuries, you know what I mean? But had what, you know what I mean? That's it, but that's not enough really for me to say it's anything massively negative. You know what I mean? It's part and parcel of the sport. And long may it continue, but as I said, it's self-belief was probably the big thing for me. I didn't realise it so much at the time till now. I had to believe, you know what I mean? I didn't need to have a bit of belief in myself. It's definitely there now, you know what I mean? But I don't think I realised how big a sort of factor that was, you know? Until now I can kind of, it's there, you know what I mean? I didn't realise it was missing. So
do you think after each win it was kind of gradually...
Aye, definitely, you know what I mean? Like even it started off when I was, you know, just during lockdown going around sparring with boys, and I mean I was getting nervous for that, sparring with pros, and then you're like, hold on, I belong here a wee bit, you know? And it happened on so many different levels, you know what I mean? To the first fight, to think, no, if I get through this fight, but you know, that's good for me actually. I'm doing great, you know what I mean? To kind of realise, no, I belong here, you know what I mean? I'm as good, if not better, than the boys that I'm in mixing it with.
Well,
So,
you've proved that. You've just beat a good wee prospect in Alfie Pool there. A good prospect there again, and O'Donnell. I believe 100%. It's one of them. Everybody's either one or the other.
Yeah.
It's like they're dead set on Elliot or one are dead set on you. I've said it before with Alfie. I said 100% Liam will beat him because you're one awkward motherfucker.
Yeah.
You're so awkward it's unreal, and you're so good at doing it.
Yeah.
And you're a southpaw.
Yeah.
Just have been drowned at Buff. That's what I would say about southpaws, man. Fucking, I'm naturally a southpaw as well. You know what I mean? Fucking hate southpaws. That's how Carter beat me. Don't like southpaws, but you'll beat Elliot again. So you fucking more than deserve to be there. You know what I mean?
No, that's it. You know, but it's like a hurdle kind of thing, isn't it? Where it has been with me. You know what I mean? It's been me sort of, you know, steps up the kind of pyramid, you know what I mean? But I'm feeling good now, I feel confident. And, no, as I said, they're fighting 10 weeks yesterday, get Elliot O'Donnell, so for the Celtic, it's a bigger title than the last one I won, step in the right direction, you know what I mean? So,
still on undercard.
Good. That's right, we're on the same card.
That's one for cameras, by the way. We can watch both of us in action on the same night.
When is this?
2nd of September.
Right.
In the Paisley Lagoon Centre.
And is there still tickets for it?
There is. There is loads of tickets for it, and it's a public show as well, so the tickets are cheaper.
Right.
And we can get more of them. It's no cap.
We're both fighting for titles, something.
I'm fighting Kazim Salim, my second chance at the Scottish title. And you're fighting Elliot O'Donnell for the Celtic. It's fucking heavy duty, the show's called.
So you both in prep for this already?
Yeah.
Aye.
Right.
That's it, aye. So that's it, 10 weeks to go.
10 weeks,
so it's that's sort of start the heavy work in a couple of weeks time, you know what I mean? But it's quite gradual, you know what I mean? But full swing now.
Both confident of winning?
Aye, absolutely.
100%. Penalty kick for me, man. Kazim beats me. Nah, I keep slagging Kazim a little bit. If Kazim beats me, I'm chucking it.
I think he's another good boy, man. We're another undefeated boy, you know what I mean? So nobody in that that's undefeated after, I think he's had about 6 or 7 fights. So, he's got to turn up and win, you know what I mean? So that's one I'm preparing myself for. It's not about him really, it's about what I do, you know what I mean? And I'm going to make sure I'm tip top for on the night, you know.
How do you use how do you mentally prepare for it? Because obviously it's 10 weeks away, but how do you get yourself into the mindset, the new, of you need to be doing everything for that fight 2.5 months?
Running.
Down the line.
See, every time I go and spar, I do 6, 8, 10 rounds or whatever, and I'm out running. And that's what preps me mentally, you know what I mean? Because I know I'm not cutting corners. I know I'm doing the graft, you know what I mean? So like when you're, as I say, come back to what I'm saying about that, you know, I get anxiety about that not being prepared kind of thing, you know what I mean? For me, that's what puts my nerves at bed and makes me mentally prepared, is putting in the graft in the gym, doing the hard work, you know? Because you know you can do it. When you know you do it and you know you can go into the trenches, you're not scared of it. You know, when you're not sure.
Runs the most important thing. I used to without doubt, I'd be up at 4 a.m. and I would run 3 mile at least. If not, I would run to the gym. The kind of gym for my house in Yoker was 6 mile exactly. Run there, train, and then I would walk back, or I would get a bus back if I was fucking really fucked. But I used to always my thing, so I could have that party lifestyle and that fucking not been running getting mad with the weekends and fucking through the week just having a booze and whatever. I could get away with that because regardless of it, I was up at 4 a.m. running, hungover. Fucking rough, doesn't matter. I was up and I was running, but after I get stabbed so I've got a big hole in my leg. My hand in my head doesn't really matter for this, but I can't run.
Right.
And that was my big thing. But see, with the running makes such a difference in it. It just changes everything. That's how I could always be in good shape, but I was out fucking 3 days at the weekend. You know what I mean? Out of my box, back I get away with it because the Monday morning I got up.
A lot of heavyweights don't run though, don't there? There's a lot of heavyweights don't just purely, and it's one of these things that people argue about. There's a lot of sports scientists and that argue that running doesn't really, you know, doesn't benefit you as much as you think. But I mean,
benefits you there.
I think so. I've mentally, you know what I mean. It's you're keeping the engine running
in the tank as well, aren't you?
Exactly that. So you know, I definitely think it's an important part of the game, and as Jay was saying, mentally, you know what I mean. It's you're just you're keeping the engine running, you know what I mean, which is important.
And is how vital is it to have that team run about you when you go into camp or when you go into your kind of training for it? Is it important that you trust all these guys, that you've got a kind of relationship with them, or does it matter as much if you're in that zone anyway and you're training and you're prepping as much as you can?
No, I think the whole team needs to be switched on. If somebody hasn't, don't get me wrong, see, as much as when the bell goes, they all turn that way,
Aye.
and it's just you that's in there. Everything before it is all the team.
Aye.
All the trainers, all the team. When you've got your... Obviously, you need to be the person that puts the work in, but they need to be the people to help push you.
Aye.
You know what I mean? I've had fucking... I think Jerry's my... I've had 22 pro fights and Jerry's my 15th coach.
Right.
Jerry that trains me, but he's not the one I've really listened to.
Right.
I'm not listening to anybody. I actually train myself for a couple of them.
What's different about him, do you think?
We just got on.
Aye.
We just click and go on with each other, and that's how it works. But I wasn't listening to anybody else, and I wasn't doing it, and so it didn't really matter to me what they were saying or what they were trying to do. As much as these guys are great coaches and they were trying to push me on, it didn't matter because I wouldn't listen.
Right.
A lot of that was just fucking youthful arrogance as well.
Aye.
But I've had more than you. No, I mean, I know more than you. And no listening to people, but it's a big thing. The whole team needs to be switched on. I'm training with HS Athletics, and he's based in the Central Strength Gym in Glasgow. If he's no switched on, I'm no switched on.
Aye.
If Jerry's no switched on, I'm no switched on. Stephen at Hells, if he's no switched on, I'm no switched on. Even Sam, my manager, if he's no switched on, I'm no switched on.
Aye.
You know what I mean? That a part of that is a lot to do with my fragility of just not wanting to do in it.
Aye.
You know what I mean?
Aye.
So it'll be different for different people, but the whole team needs to be switched on.
Absolutely.
The whole team needs to be switched on, man.
I still train by my coach that I started off with, Chris McAdam, and my main trainer, Paul Fells, was my sparring partner for, 25 years ago, just about. So, like, for me, that's it. I mean, Chris and Paul both know me really well, Chris, obviously he's brilliant with the kind of the old school style of boxing, inside stuff and everything else.
Aye.
Paul brings that kind of, the youthful aspect to it. He's really hungry, want to learn new things, and he brings that to the table. So
Aye.
we've got a good kind of balance, like Chris knows me so well. He in that last fight there, like, got to about round 7 or 8, and I felt I was starting to gas a bit, and we weren't even talking tactics in the ring, you know what I mean? Me and Chris talk a lot about breathing exercises and everything else, you know what I mean? And that's what we were doing in the in between rounds, was like controlling my breathing, Whereas Paul's working on the tactic side of things, so we've just got a good kind of balance, that really works, you know what I mean? But it's so important, you know what I mean? I've been trained all over the world, with different folk here and there, and there's been times before I walked into a gym and pretty much walked right back out because they're trying to impose their ego on you know what I mean? They're trying. I've not trained in once. I go in and they absolutely hammer the shit out of you, and I'm like, that's not what I need.
Gym.
You know what I mean?
I was me with Bill Nelson, I was just getting that.
Like they're trying to show that, how kind of how hard and how tough they are as a trainer. And
it's not going to help you, but is it?
I come away from it, I can't walk for fucking days, like, you know what I mean? It's not good to me, you know what I mean? You need somebody that's on your level, you know what I mean, that brings you up gradually, picks you up, you know what I mean, when you need to be picked up, and
that knows you.
Need a team that makes you the best version of you. Not that tries to make you a fucking plastic version of some kind of
Aye.
You know what I mean? Because that's, I know exactly what you're saying there, but just if you get fit, that'll be you. Well, right, what won't I? Because I'm not doing anything that I do. I'm just fucking...
They're trying to replicate somebody else.
Aye. And that's what I found when I was out at Billy. I like Billy. A lot of people don't because he's got a big mouth, but I like Billy. So I went out and done a bit of training with him when he was training Gary Cornish. I was just like, just the things he was doing, it was just exactly the same as Ricky Burns, and was like, that it won't work for me.
Aye.
It won't work for me. It'll work for other boys, but it will not work for me. I'm too elusive and fucking too random in the way I fight. You know what I mean? Too unpredictable. It just wouldn't work for me. And I just didn't like it. And it was was nothing against him.
I suppose two fighters aren't really the same, are they? When it comes to training and prep
never. And what Jay was saying, that's it with Paul. Like, he thinks one of my sort of one of the pros of the way I box is I'm really awkward. Paul knows that I'm really awkward, and we work on that. You know what I mean? You don't try and use your try. No, that's it. You play it. You make it turn into a strength. You know what I mean?
It gets to the point with boxing. This is why I believe I'll be a really good coach, because that's what I want to do after I've boxed. want to train other boys. I've trained a good few boys for white collar fights and that, and they've all fucking smashed it. Because I've got a good boxing brain. I've just not got a good boxing body. Do you know what I mean? So I've got a very good boxing brain, a very good understanding of the game. I've been in this game fucking more than half my life. You know what I mean? I think this year, 17 years in August, I've been boxing. I've been involved with boxing. I've been boxing at least fucking 3 times a week. You know what I mean? So I've got a good understanding of the game. But what you need to do is you need to train the man, not the fighter. If you train the man will fight.
Right.
You see, if you're just training a fighter, you forget about all the emotions or the everything else that the man's got. You forget the man's got emotions. The man's got a life. You know what I mean? He's got stuff outside. You need to deal with all that. That's what my coach Jerry does really well. So he goes, "How are you feeling?" Instead of "Why the fuck you no train?" He's like, "What's making you no train?" He's like, so starts to think of the person. And know of me just as a fighter. You know what I mean? I'm not a machine, I'm a fucking man. You know what I mean? I've got emotions, like I've got ups and downs and fucking life's a roller coaster for everybody, do you know what I mean? And people don't realise that with boxing, it's fucking a lot more. I came up with a term, I call it what now syndrome after you fight. And it's after you've had the fight, you've been in the lights, everything's there. Straight after, you sit there and I don't know if you do this, I go into a deep depression.
Right.
As in,
whether you win or lose?
Win, lose,
no matter what.
Just after the fight.
Any fight, aye.
Because you're coming up so high, you know what I mean? And
you're sitting there and you're like, I don't want to be here. I'm just fucking... It really is. It's heartbreaking because I'm thinking it as other people because I can deal with the way I always dealt it was fucking booze and gear and fucking out partying. That was the way I dealt with it. But you get that point and you just sit there and I imagine it's fucking so hard for you with a young family and stuff, do you know what I mean? To just go, fuck, what now? I've had the fight, I've done it, there's nothing on the horizon, what do I do now? And that's something I struggle with. But that's what I'm saying about needing to train the man, so he now gets me to do stupid shit, like come in and help the boys or whatever, do you know what I mean? Just talks to me or messages me or phones me up. So know that I'm still in that loop.
Yeah.
But it's a bit, you need to train the man and know the fucking machine. You know what I mean? Everybody's is a human being. Although we're fighting like machines and we're fucking thrown in there and this is the new Victorian circus, is professional boxing, do you know what I mean? But it's, but you need to remember we're all fucking people as well.
There is definitely a bit of that, you know. I think it's because things are so busy and they're on up to a fight 3-4 weeks before it. You're in with different, you're talking to different coaches, different sparring partners. It's so, you know what I mean, it's you're everything's revolving round about you in this fight, and then when it's there and done with, you got, you know, a couple of days of well wishes and everything else, and then it just kind of sinks back down. But that's also because you're building yourself up. You don't want to be up there all the time. You want to be up there for fight night, and then you want to come back down for your training and everything, and then back up, you know what I mean? You don't want to be running at, you know, at full throttle the full time, you know what I mean? You need to peak at the right time. So there is a wee, you know, sometimes there is that kind of, you know, wee lull after it where you're like, fuck, you know, you've been so high, you do get a low, even after a win, you get a bit of a low, you know what I mean? Because you've had that much going on and a bit, you know what I mean, in the lead up to a fight, you know. But
there is nothing will get you higher than boxing.
I was going to say, do you then start chasing that high all the time because you've got that feeling?
Of course, you know, I do worry about, you know, now chucking it in the end, do you know what I mean? Because I realise how good it is for me mentally. I think I don't think I want to coach because I know coaching is hard, sometimes takes up more of your time than actually being a fighter, you know. But I've been sort of toying with the idea of maybe doing something on the board, an inspector or something like that. I was looking at refereeing, but I didn't realise how much is involved in becoming a referee. It's a tough slog, you know what I mean, and a long road. But I still want to be involved, you know, like I certainly couldn't walk away from it altogether, you know what I mean? It's ingrained in me, it's been part of my life, even though I've fell away from it for various reasons over the years and during my youth, you know, I realise how important it is for me, you know, it's so it's definitely, it's not something I could, you know, close a door on. So I need to start thinking about when, you know what I mean, when the curtains come down on my career, like what I do next, you know, but I'll certainly be involved in boxing in some way.
See, in the sense of, obviously, when you listen to boxers talking, they all talk about there's various politics in the sport, there's various different things that go on behind the scenes that people don't always see when they're watching a fight. But see if you could go and change one thing about the sport, or you could alter one thing, what would it be? Because you're obviously in there, you see it day to day, week to week.
The money.
The money. The money. Us having to sell the tickets as well. See, not everybody thinks they go, me, right, say I've had 22 professional fights. Like, you must be fucking cake, that cunt must be a millionaire. I have had 6 fights, I've not made a wage, and another 2 that Sam Kinnock has covered the costs.
Jeez.
Because I've not sold enough tickets.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Whereas people sort of seen me on these big platforms and stuff like New York. See, when I fought in New York, everyone went, I just got a card. They must have about 100 grand for it. I get fucking 2 and tax 600. With 1,400
back out the
for
door.
it. So I was a good sesh. Know what I mean? That's what that was. That was a good fucking weekend.
Ground level, you know what I mean? It's realistically, the amount of work you're putting in, the hours you're putting in, it doesn't. I mean, I'm a joiner, can mind me business, but like the amount of hours that you're putting in, the amount of time I've got to take off my work, no, it doesn't equate to kind of, you know, what I would anywhere near what I'd make out of my work, you know. But it's the love of the sport, isn't it? You know what I mean? It's but I mean, hopefully, if you push on, you do get that payday that kind of makes it all worthwhile, you know what I mean? Because it's a lot, you know, when you're going to get punched in the face.
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? It's a fucking...
For probably
you're
less
putting
than
your life in the
wage
line,
when you put the hours in, you know what I mean? You add the hours up, you know.
Well less than minimum wage. If you're getting there for a 4-rounder for 800 quid, you've trained for fucking 8 weeks before. You've trained for 8 weeks, right? So you're getting 100 quid a week. You know what I mean?
Aye.
And then you need to buy your shorts.
That's why you need
to pay your trainer 10%. You need to pay your manager 25%. It's people don't realise.
No.
See, when you make... So, but you, let's say 20%, right? So you're 640 you get, and then you're 80 to the trainer, so you're making 560 quid for a 4-rounder.
And you're the one that's jumping about a ring for
that you've trained 8 weeks for. You've took time off your work. You've took time off us. Let's say you're enjoying the company. So
you must, if you didn't love it, you couldn't do that, could you? You wouldn't.
Aye.
You wouldn't work.
You wouldn't do that as a job.
No, would you fuck?
I'm financially the worst off I have been since I started turning pro, just because I'm at a time I'm taking off my work.
Especially take time off work for your sparring and for your, you know what I mean?
And because I'm self-employed as well, and I've got a family, right, you know, you're trying to juggle everything. The easiest one to throw to the side is your work, you know what I mean? Because you can't do it with the other two, you know. They need your attention, so it's... Don't get me wrong, it's I'm getting better at it, finding the kind of balance, you know. But there've been times before I had to pull out with injury, and then the Queen popped her clogs and my fight got called off on the day of the fight.
Oh, it was fucking
and you know, I was kind of... I pretty much no work for 2 weeks before that, so you're kind of
banging
on that door, you know what I mean?
I did
just to smooth things out, you know what I mean? So, it's no easy. Hopefully, you know what I mean. We both myself and Jay get a payday somewhere online that makes it all worthwhile. You know what I mean? In terms of financially,
it's mental though, because folk will watch you both of you and go, "You must have a bit of dough."
Aye,
no,
it's mental.
No,
and then you break it down like that. Like go to Madison Square Garden, you walk out with 1,400 quid.
No,
that's fucking.
No. It's no 30 minutes work. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
It's a lot more.
Aye, no, you forget everything else that goes into it.
Aye, but that's the nature of the game. It's the same for us all. You know what I mean? You need, as I said, you need to love the sport, and you know, Haddy certainly, I'm sure Jay does as well, and that's what makes it a whole lot easier. Because if I was out, if I was doing it just for money, you know what I mean? I wouldn't be doing it.
You wouldn't be doing it, no.
Do you think folk come into it looking to make?
Certainly, you're a journeyman. You know what I mean? And that's the nature of the beast for them. They're out to make a wage every week, and they do well. They're a lot better than us. You know what I mean? But because they're active, and you know, they're taking fights last minute, fighting prospects and everything else. Sometimes getting the big ones down on the shows down south, and I'm sure they get paid pretty well for that. So there is that aspect to it. You know what I mean? But you know, it's certainly not something I think I could do. You know what I mean? You know.
Yeah, too proud.
No.
A different approach on it if you were just doing
absolutely,
that and taking fights.
You know, but you need these guys.
You can only commend them as well. You can only praise them for what they do, because they push boys on in the career and they help guys get better. But I just couldn't do it.
No, and you need that. You need to break yourself into boxing your first couple with journeyman. You can't be going in and having a 50-50 off the back, because all that nervous energy. You know what I mean? You know, it's you need that wee kind of, you know, that kindergarten fight breaking into pro boxing, and that's what they give you. They give you a wee run around and, you know, show you what it's all about. So you need to be grateful for these boys.
See my debut. So the guy I was fighting was meant to be a journeyman. I was fighting for my first fight, so I was meant to be a journeyman. You're fighting. The board especially said, because it was only 18-year-old, I'm fighting a heavyweight.
Right.
So I fought him, and he came out straight away and we had a proper tear up. and I stopped him in the third. It was only after that, because he went down and fought a guy down in Manchester and knocked him out in the first.
Right.
It was only after that we looked into him and realised he was a silver medalist in the Europeans 2 years before. He wasn't a journeyman, he was out to just fucking beat a few boys, get a cut of debuts, say he was on the road, because he'd won one, lost one in France and had drawn one.
Right.
So his record wasn't great, but he was a good fighter. I think he got robbed in France, and then fucking the other one was on the road, he got a draw, usually means you've won. And I came out of a go at me, but just as well I stopped him, man, because he was fucking good. You know what I mean?
They're the ones you need to watch, you know what I mean? Because journeymen, as they go on, they become bit. They realise that they're fighting next week and they need to look after themselves. They become very defensive. The ones that have had 2, 3, 4 fights and whatever, they're still very raw and still have a pop. You know what I mean? They're the ones that I think are a bit livelier
What's his
than.
name? He stopped a few boys bantamweight, I think. Brent Fido.
Aye,
He's one. He's a boogeyman sometimes. Because sometimes he'll come in and just decide he wants to win. And
I think they have to as well sometimes, you know what I mean? They've got to get the wee wins here and there, you know, to kind of, don't get grief off the sort of higher authority, you know what I mean, in the boxing world, you know what I mean? And most of them are good fighters, you know, most of them, if when they want to turn it up, they can, you know, especially against inexperienced boys, you know what I mean?
Who was it? Was it William Warburton? I was on a Channel 5 show, fighting like WBC international champion. And he just decided, nah, fuck it, I'm going to win tonight. Just lettered the guy. The WBC silver champion it was. I can't remember who it was though. I think it was William Warburton that won, but I don't know who it was he was fighting. Just one night turned up, just went, I'm going to win tonight, man.
He was a good fighter.
Very good, very, very good. People don't realise how good these guys actually are. Pucci. So, Lothar Puch, 180 maybe, 180 fights he had. Right. Most of them losses. Last year he decided that I'm just going to come out and win a few of them because I'm starting to get the work anyway. And
luckily after I fought him, because I had him my third fight or whatever. You know what I mean?
By the way, so when he comes up to Scotland, I'm good mates with him, right? When he comes up to Scotland and he's not got anybody with him, he'll stay here for a couple of days before I'll give him some pads. He's one of the hardest punchers I've held pads for. And I never ever fought it because he obviously just fucking taps away at boys and just move like that. He'll just entertain, go out to the crowd, and that bump, hit boys and move. See, when he was actually hitting the pads, I was like, fuck me, man. So you just feel that heavy-handed sometimes when somebody's hitting it, it's like shaking through your arm. I was just thinking, so after I held him in the pads, I was like, you can punch like fuck. Why are you on the roads?
You gave me a wee wake up call in the last round. Don't get me wrong, I gave away a fair few pun that fight, you know what I mean?
He would have done. He would have done, man. He fights waiting for fucking. I couldn't fight anybody from middleweight up to cruiserweight.
Jeez.
Nuts, man.
It was the last round. He caught me once where I thought, you know, need to switch on here. You know what I mean? Just no, stay switched on.
Should be sharp reminder.
That's it. You get them, know what I mean? Just as long as you're not getting the reminder when you're on your back. You know what I mean?
That's the thing. You'll not put in that's how these guys are so clever and so impressive what they do, because you'll not put enough in it that he will put in your back. He'll put enough in it. He'll know that he's just putting enough in it for you to go, oh fuck, right, okay, keep that on up. You know what I mean?
He's become a referee now. You know what I mean? That's what he's doing. He's moved into the board now, becoming a referee down south. So I wish him all the best. He's a lovely guy.
Cracking guy, picture.
Fair play. I'm curious for this one, just given that the both of you have had really different paths, but if you could go back, speak to your 16-year-old self, based on everything you've experienced, everything you know now, what would you tell a 16-year-old Jay and Liam? What would you say?
Take it easy on the drugs and the drink, and, you know, because when I was certainly in my 20s, you know what I mean, you feel indestructible, and all your mates are all bouncing about, you know, and it's almost like, you know, it's not going to affect you. But now that I'm in my 30s, you know what I mean, and especially when I started to notice it, I went away to Australia when I was 26, was there for years. Luckily, I'm really glad that I did at the time, because it took me away for the kind of scene in Glasgow. But coming back, you know what I mean, there's a lot of people in a really bad state, you know what I mean. I wouldn't say I would have ended up like that, you know what I mean, I'm pretty sure I wouldn't have, you know what I mean, but like, it certainly, it catches up with you, you know what I mean, and you have to be, you know, wary of that, because when you're in your 20s, you think you're indestructible and you can just keep parting away doing what you want, but it eats away at folk, and I'm, you know, that's, although I, you know, as I said, I got away to Australia and came back and, you know, wasn't doing what I was doing when I was younger, but Like, aye, that's the advice I'd give myself. Watch what you're doing, you know what I mean? Because it catches up on everybody, you know what I mean? You know, that's what I think, you know.
What about yourself?
You're not there yet.
I'm 16 next week. Yeah. I wouldn't change anything in my life. The only thing I would change, I would tell myself, stop punting the gear, is what I would say. That's the only thing I would say to myself, stop punting the gear, because it's got me into a lot of trouble.
Right.
That's all I would say to myself. See everything else, all the partying I've done, the fucking mad sessions I've had, I wouldn't change anything. Like, go and enjoy yourself, but stop fucking getting involved with it.
Right.
That's the only thing I would say to myself.
Do you think that would have made a difference if you weren't?
Well, I wouldn't have more holes in me than Swiss cheese for a start.
Aye.
I would, that would have made a massive difference if I wasn't involved with stuff and I never thought, I can make money here. But enjoy yourself, just don't get involved with it. That's
part of the story, isn't it? You've got to make these mistakes to get to where you are, you know what I mean?
No, I know.
And I've had my fair share of them, you know what I mean? Like, definitely, but it's part of what makes you, isn't it? You know what I mean? Like, as long as you learn the lesson, don't learn, you know, the hard way, you know what I mean?
Aye, that's what I would say. Plus, I would say for me to put a bet on Leicester winning the league, because I would have made a fucking fortune, you know what I mean?
What, 5,000 to on it, I think?
Aye, mate, just sit, come put a tenner on it, cashed it. What a prick.
Jeez. What about what would you say to kids coming into it, you know? Like 15, 16-year-old?
I can't recommend enough, you know what I mean? It's the good thing is with boxing, especially now, you know, it used to be quite, when I started boxing, the gyms were a mess, you know what I mean? It was old horsehair gloves, you know, and like there wasn't really, the money wasn't pumped into it, you know what I mean? We were going down to box down in England, whatever, and like you're staying in youth hostels, you know what I mean? And fucking, it was horrible, it wasn't a nice experience, but there's the banking there. And you know, obviously with the women's boxing as well, it's there now as well. It's a good thing for women to get into, you know what I mean? It really is, and it's if anything, it teaches them they don't have to, you know, they don't. You like a big part of it, obviously, it's always related to kind of fighting and everything else because it is a form of fighting, but it teaches you don't have to raise your hands, you know what I mean? Because you know that what you can do if it comes to it, you know, you defend yourself, but you don't have to raise your hands. Certainly for me when I was a kid, when I got to a certain stage where I was just like, I don't have to be the big man. I don't have to go out and be the, you know, on the front foot in front of everybody and, you know, proving anything or whatever. You're getting praise and applause for adults for actually boxing, the gloves on in the ring and doing the right kind of thing. And that's you know, I think that's an important thing for Waynes to get. Waynes crave that, you know what I mean? They want to be valid, you know what I mean? And getting it in the right way or the wrong way, boxing gives you it in the right way, you know what I mean? It sets you up for life, you know what I mean? It opens a lot of doors.
Aye, what a discipline.
Yep.
Aye. Do you know, I've heard a lot of people say separately about saying they've about employing people.
Right.
It was a guy down in London told me, he said he used to ask people if they've ever boxed.
Right.
Ever boxed. It was a sales, some sort of sales firm they had. And he always said that he would take on people that have done a bit of boxing, because he would just say it in like conversation, but he would take on people that's done a bit of boxing because of their discipline. I thought it was very clever, but it disciplines you in life.
Aye.
You know what I mean? I would be a fucking... I'm ill disciplined as it is, but I would be a mess if I was in the boxing. 100% I'd be in the jail for doing something stupid. Not for doing anything bad.
Aye.
No, for killing a guy. Do you know what I mean? But for doing something stupid. Do you know what I mean? Like fucking try to ride the Duke of Wellington naked or something. Do you know what I mean? Just something ridiculous. Like if I never had boxing, I would be in a fucking bad place. Or quite possibly we did. You know what I mean?
It's made that much of a difference.
I've made that much of a difference to me.
Injects a bit of self-pride as well, doesn't it? Which I think's important. Come back to what we're saying about, you know, when you hit those dangerous years with drugs are everywhere and everything else, you know what I mean? You need that wee reason not to push it just that wee bit too far. And I think a lot of young people would find that in boxing, you know what I mean? Because you've got pride in yourself, you know you can achieve something, and you know it gives you reason not to push it too far or make, you know, like really bad decisions, you know what I mean? Not always, you know what I mean, but you need these wee things in life, you know what I mean, to make you feel like, you know, you're a good person and you're doing all right, you know, and Wayne's especially, you know what I mean, as I said, because they're, you know what I mean, they're very impressionable, you know what I mean?
Aye.
It's important that, you know what I mean, that they feel worthy and stuff like that. Boxing definitely does that.
No,
you know?
it does. Definitely does. Also, for somebody young looking for a gym, somebody that's not in a gym, find yourself an old school gym.
Mm-hmm.
Don't go to these fucking commercial gyms now, man, and that all the money's pumped into it, and find yourself a gym.
Community gym.
Aye, just a wee gym. See with an old school ethos on boxing as well, because it sort of always produces the best.
Right.
Always produces the best, and that's not just in a boxing sense, because these big fancy gyms, they'll produce good boxers, but it's the best. You feel like you've achieved more when you come for it. I came for Clive View. Old Bert Watt trained me. He was fucking in his 80s when he was training me, and passed away. And fucking, I moved to the Kinnock gym. I started training in there, but that gym was a rope. This is how big the gym was. It was a rope that clipped into the walls.
Right.
Brackets on the walls and clipped the rope. Clipped the rope into the walls, and 4 bags that we hung up every night because it was a wee community hall.
Aye.
It was like tea parties, not up for the day for the oldies. And we hung up bags at night. There was 4 bags and a rope that clipped into the walls, and the amount of champions that came for that gym, and the amount of, not just champions, but good people.
Aye.
It makes good people when you come from such a humble place.
Aye.
You know what I mean?
Aye.
But that's what I would say. Find an old coach.
Aye.
An old boy that's fucking been in the game for years.
Good
and
values.
Off him, because that's exactly what I was going to say there. Because you'll not just learn loads about boxing. You'll not just find a love for boxing, but you'll learn good values as well. Because a lot of the fucking new school are wankers. Do you know what I mean?
It's ego in it. There's a lot of ego in the sport, especially now. You know,
ego, exactly.
Especially now, I think, you know, social media and the internet's got a big part to play in it, you know, like, because it's not so much about fighting anymore. I mean, look at all this YouTube bullshit and everything else, you know what I mean? It's not
What do you
even
think of that? The kind of...
I can't, you know, it's as what it is, you know what I mean?
Keep
I know
it separate,
it is.
but fair play to them.
Aye.
They're fucking
You know,
smashing it, they're making a fortune.
It makes me sick, but, you know what I mean?
Aye, it
you have
makes you sick
25
when you
years in the
think,
game
with the
and,
money.
you know, with the money,
Aye.
you know?
Aye, mate, that makes you
that's
sick.
just a bit of probably jealousy, you know what I mean? Because I'd love to go in
But
there.
it is, but they're fucking smashing
Aye,
it. Just keep it
that's it.
separate. See what it's called, that X series, that crossover series?
Aye.
Keep it as that.
But it is.
Don't start coming in with us.
Well,
Because if you come in with us, proper come in
well,
with us.
that's what I... See, if you're a YouTuber and you're going to fight like what you used to, and you've never boxed, you're not coming out of that ring in a decent shape. Do you know what I mean? So they're obviously hand-picking people in different like MMA and different things like that.
No, that's the thing.
Aye.
Aye. Well, that's the thing. Fucking... It's just... just don't come in with us. Keep it as X series. Keep it crossover. Fight other YouTubers, fight other fucking celebrities.
But they're using real
Islanders.
boxing as a, you know, to put, you know, push them out there. You know what I mean? They're using it and they're taunting with kind of fights with real boxers to get the, you know, to get seen. You know what I mean? Which I understand. You know what I mean? That's but it can become frustrating more so again because, you know, all these wallopers online actually believe, you know what I mean? Which is hard. It's a hard thing to read.
Did you see that one? It was the 2 fat
Aye, I did. Aye, well, I didn't see it. Seen it.
I think they had to fucking wear them in cattle scales. They were fucking massive.
It's becoming a
2
bit
big
of
fat
circus show.
cunts. But I'll tell you what, I'll fight one of yous.
Aye.
You think you can box? I'll fight one of yous. I'm a big fat cunt and all, but I'll punch fuck out you.
But you're now seeing like that Tommy Fury's went out of that side because he obviously sees the money.
It's the money.
Aye.
That's sitting there and he's gone.
And do you know what? Fair play to Tommy, because I actually really like Tommy. He's a nice boy, but fair play to him because he knows he's not going to win world titles. He knows he's not going to.
He's always going to be in that shadow, isn't he?
He's always going to be in that shadow, and he's never going to
have a hard ride if he's going to go down there.
Never ever going to be better. So go into that crossover boxing. Go and fight your guys. Like even that fucking Idris Virgo, he's another one, right? He's a decent enough fighter, and he was a boxer before he was in Love Island.
Aye.
But he's no kind of tab with that brush, and he's no great. He's not going to win titles. He's not going to. He's not even the English level. I don't think. So go into that crossover and fight your fucking KSIs. Fight your fucking guys that are famous for playing FIFA. You know what I mean? Fight all these guys and make some fucking coin.
Just don't get mixed up with us doing it. I mean, doing it properly.
I reckon I'm actually built for it, to be honest.
Would you ever take a fight like that?
Oh, I would fucking love to.
I mean, at the end of the day, it's money. You know what I mean? If the dough was there, you know what I mean? I'd certainly have a good think about it. You know what I mean? No doubt about it. Depending what the numbers were, you know what I mean? But because at the end of the day, you know what I mean? You need to make a living. You know what I mean? That's what it comes down to.
I'd love it, man. I think I was built for it. I think I should have made myself famous first.
Hey, maybe you get your podcast on the go, you know what I mean? You'll,
call out somebody.
that's it. Talk yourself into it.
Just call cunts it. Who's the big cunt? Who's the big True Geordie? He's big enough to fight me.
Aye.
I'll build my podcast up, get
That's
to
it.
that kind of level. I'll
Give
fight
yourself
True
a
Geordie.
Who's he's into it with Conor McGregor, the new into the 2 hours? Back and forward, or that'd be a mismatch, so to be fair, I don't know how that would pan out.
Is it Elon Musk and
Elon Musk and Zuckerberg.
Cage, you know what I mean? Actually, I'd probably be interested in seeing that. You know what I mean? That's what I mean about the freak show kind of thing. Like, I'm actually interested to see the 2 hitties, you know what I mean?
See from a boxing, purely boxing point of view, is there a fight out there with fighters that are there now that you would want to see? When you look at kind of each division, is there a fight you're like, I'd love to see they two actually get in a ring?
Spence and Crawford, you know what I mean? That's happening. That's happening. But that's one I was really looking forward to seeing. Unfortunately, there's that much politics in boxing, you know what I mean? And a lot of fights don't happen when they're meant to. And we've seen it so much over the years, you know what I mean? You need to just kind of switch after it, and you know what I mean? What gets made, because there's especially the more money gets involved, the more problems there is, you know what I mean? So you just need to kind of take it. It's the sort of shitey bit of the game, really, you know what I mean? Because, you know what I mean, the best should fight the best, you know what I mean? And this is at our kind of level, you know what I mean? That is what happens, you know what I mean? So that's why you go and support these shows, you know what I mean? Because you will see proper 50-50s, you know? But once there's that much money involved and that many people want to fight and everything else, it just turns into a bit of a mess, you know what I mean? Unfortunately.
A lot of fights. Boxing's not even worth a bet anymore. See, if you're looking at, it's like you can have 9 fights on the main events, maybe the best odds you'll get is 2-1 on one side. You know what I mean? Because there is a 50-50 there. But the rest of the fights are all fucking 10-1 on, 15-1 on. It's just all set that people will win, and you know it's going to happen. Whereas if you come 2nd of September, get your tickets off me, you know what I mean? To watch like me and Liam, there'll be 3 or 4 proper 50-50 fights. You know, proper toe-to-toes, real fights. And we're the ones that don't make the money. You know what I mean? We're not on the big fucking, not under the big lights. So we're the ones that's actually having the fights, the big fights, the fucking meaningful fights. Entertaining fights, and nobody will get to see them because they're not on the big screen. But that's just the way boxing works.
Empty that you would like to get in a ring with? Like if it was no object, doesn't matter what level they're at or what level you're at, anybody that you'd fancy going
me
the distance way?
Is this in Scotland actually? Is this prick Liam Phillip? Aston Brown.
I can't say there's anybody that you know. That's that. You just put one foot in front of the other in this game. I mean, you don't get too far ahead of yourself. I mean, I'd like the match with Campbell.
Right.
I want to beat Kazim, get the rematch with Campbell. I don't think he's interested. Not that would never vacated the belt, but that's one I would like. And it's nothing disrespect against him. I just don't know I can beat him. And I hate that he's got that one over me. But that's one. Nothing against him. Nothing against him. Fair play to him. You know what I mean?
And for myself, you know what I mean? Obviously, I just focus on what's in front of me. You know what I mean? That's it. Cause you're only as good as your next fight. You know what I mean? So that's it. That's focus on what's in front of me and keep pushing on. You know what I mean? I'm happy to be where I'm at. You know what I mean? And if it all finished tomorrow, I'd be happy with what I've done. But you know, you just keep pushing on. You know what I mean? That's
it. I can't let you leave without getting your favourite boxing film. I need to know.
A favourite boxing film?
Raging Bull for me.
Nice.
Raging Bull. Ooh, that's a hard one. Real Steel, mate. Real Steel. I watched that the other night. Fucking first room. It's quality. Real Steel. No, it's not actually my favourite film. It's just it's nice to watch when you're a wee bit trippy. It's Hugh Jackman was like an old school boxer,
right?
But it's the new school now. It's robots that are fighting.
Right.
You need to train the robots. It's quality.
I've seen that actually bits and bobs of
fucking dynamite. It's dynamite.
It's hard to watch boxing films. I was trying to buy the second boxer.
I was trying to buy the second one because there's a second and I didn't know because I was trying to buy it on Amazon, but as I'm trying to type in the code for it, everything's all hieroglyphs. I couldn't get it. I was like, fuck this one. Putting some music on.
I was going to say a bit different, but because you are watching it going, that's not really about ham.
So that's it. It can be hard.
I like Cinderella Man. That's my actual answer. I like Cinderella Man.
That's good.
I really like Cinderella Man.
Nay, Rocky.
you know what? I've just not seen it in years, man. I do like it, but it's just that it's a bit too theatrical, you know what I mean? Because nobody gets battered like that and comes back.
The Rocky 4 one with Drago, you're not he's not killing a guy and then you're going 12 rounds with him.
No,
that's it.
He's I tell you what, I don't like Creed. They've just piggybacked off fucking and it's pish. It's so fucking fake gangster, and that's why Stone left it. Did you see that? No, Stone left it and he's not today with it. So they just did Creed and there's not even a rock in it.
Yeah,
they've just took his idea and he's like, the direction is terrible. The direction is not what I want. Rocky was an underdog story. It was an underdog story. It was the man that couldn't do anything. He could barely fucking read and write. And he got the chance at the title and he got the title and he got it. And then it was the fame and then it was getting your way up there. Because there's what happens with boxing. A very good example of this is Gary Jacobs. You start for there and you build your way up to the top and then you get there and it's, what the fuck did I do? And you just fall. And you hit the flare, and then you can build yourself back up for there again. But it's the roller coaster of life when you look at all the Rocky movies. It's like a roller coaster of life. And in Scotland, we've seen it first time with different guys. Scott Harrison, he was in a lot of ball recently, and then Gary Jacobs has been up and down, and he's picking himself back up now. Actually, Gary's a fucking cracking guy. But it's the real life story of boxing. When you watch your Rocky movies, I know it's just
it's an unforgiving sport in that sense. I think a lot of people get spat out at the other end, you know what I mean? And the nature of it, you know what I mean? Like, you need to have a kind of, that's what I say, a lot of young boys, I'm like, a lot of them are putting their eggs into one basket with boxing, and it's only like 1% really make decent dough in boxing, you know? You need to kind of keep a grasp on reality, and reality is getting a trade or having a decent living that you can fall back on, because so many get spat out at the other end, and they're not used to, you know, that being at that level with the fame and everything else, and you get forgot about so quick in boxing, you know what I mean? You really are forgot about so quick. You know, you need to have something to kind of fall back on, because when you get spat out at the other end, if you've no, you know, then it can be a rough ride for a lot of people, you know. It's important to kind of look after your bread and butter first, I think, and then boxing second, because you know, realistically, not everybody's going to make money in this game.
100%.
No, I mean, you've got the right thing with your you've got your joinery business. Obviously, a barber, a butcher heads, and
anything.
And I'm lucky enough that I can fall back on a personality. Do you know what I mean? I'm not. Obviously, we said you've not got personality there, but no, but just because of the way the world is now with social media and all that, you can fall back on. Like to me, I'm soon to have the #1 podcast in Glasgow. Know what I mean? But I'm obviously starting my podcast, and I can fall back on that. Which it's a bizarre time, because if we were in the fucking even the 80s, there's no chance I'd be able to fall back on just being a personality. All I would be is the funny cunt living under the bridge. You know what I mean? But it's but you do.
That's
need
a movie in itself, but you know what I mean?
I know, but you do need something. You need to have something. Because it is unforgiving. Like it's a fucking, like when I fought Campbell at 13.5 for the fight, and I sponsored money. I spunked 15 grand in 2 weeks. I was fucking ticking half grams 2 weeks after I fought in Sky Sports. It is unforgiving, especially when you don't know what you're doing with your money. I've now got better with that, and I know what I'm doing now, and I can put things into different places. But that is because you can go for there to there. Very fast.
Quick.
Very, very fast. Especially when you come for there. See, when you come for there and you hit there, it's just in your nature to go back down there. It's never in your nature to just keep going and keep going and keep getting higher up. But you're 100% right in that. Don't do what I done, turn pro 18. Get yourself a fucking trade or something so you get something to sit back on.
You've got a backup plan.
Plenty of time, you know what I mean? This is a lot of boys in boxing and all rushing things and taking on fights real quick, so you want to get something real quick, but you know, for me it's going to be relatively short because of where I've came in, you know what I mean? Although I don't think too short, you know what I mean? Like I'm kind of pushing my timeline of where I, you know, when I'm going to chuck it further and further away, but as long as till the wheels fall off, I'll keep going, you know what I mean? But like, you know, it's a long career, you know what I mean? You need to take your time and learn your trade. A lot of young boys are want to get places really quick, but if you beat a good boy, you know what I mean? And what's the next thing you're doing? You're coming up against a harder test. You know, you need to have, as I was saying before, you need to have a good team round about you. It's looking after you in your best interests. You know, don't say aye to absolutely everything. You know what I mean? Because it'll be over before you know it. If you do, you know what I mean. You need to have a bit of maybe a bit calculated the way, the way you do things, I think.
No, definitely.
This has been
That's it, but see when you were saying there about we haven't until the wheels fall off, see when the wheel falls off, take it to the slopes and start sliding. Don't just, see, like what we're saying about the undefeated thing, do you know what I mean? See if you lost one, don't just fucking chuck it in.
Absolutely.
Because you're so awkward and you're so fit and in good shape. I still can't believe you're 37.
Yep.
When you said that there, I thought you were early. I thought you were early 30s.
Aye.
But I just fucking, the wheels fall off a wagon, take it to the slopes and start fucking sliding. You know what I mean? There's always going to be chances and always going to be, especially with boxing, man, you've always got that fucking punch there. It's the last thing you lose.
Aye.
Yeah. Aye, sorry mate.
Amazing.
You were talking
That was
about.
brilliant.
No, thank you.
Brilliant. Really enjoyed it. Really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And I'll put a wee ad on for the tickets as well.
Thank you.
Superb.
Lovely to talk to you.
We'll tag some YouTubers to even get you a fight
Aye,
for that as
please
well.
do.
Get a payday.
Aye.
Brilliant.
I'll fight any cunt.
Cheers, boys.
Even you shut off, the money's right.